Have you ever felt tired, even after a full night's rest? You didn't work too hard that day, you didn't skip meals, and yet by mid-morning your energy was already slipping away. So you blame it on aging, or maybe the weather, or just one of those days. But what if I told you that what you're feeling might not be physical at all? Because stress doesn't always feel like panic or pressure. Sometimes it feels like nothing at all. No racing heart, no sweaty palms, just a quiet sense that something is off, even when everything seems fine. The truth is, your body knows when it's under stress, even when your mind says you're calm. And for people over 60, this matters more than ever. Because chronic stress doesn't just make life harder, it steals your energy, your clarity, your strength. That's why in today's video, we're diving deep into something most doctors never talk about. 10 signs you are stressed, even if you feel relaxed. Not the dramatic signs, but the quiet, sneaky ones. The ones that slowly chip away at your health. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to recognize the red flags and how to respond before stress turns into something more serious. So, make yourself comfortable, turn off distractions, and give yourself the gift of awareness. Because once you know what to look for, you can take back control. You can sleep better, think clearer, and finally feel like yourself again. Let's begin. One of the first and most overlooked signs of hidden stress is chronic fatigue. It's not just feeling sleepy after a long day. It's waking up already tired. It's dragging your feet through the morning, needing extra coffee just to think clearly, and still feeling like your energy is slipping through your hands. You might think it's age, or poor sleep, or even your diet. And while those can play a role, chronic stress is often the invisible culprit. When you're under stress, even low-level stress, your adrenal glands start pumping out cortisol. At first, cortisol helps you stay alert and active, but over time, constant cortisol output begins to wear you down. It disrupts your sleep, it messes with your metabolism, it drains your energy reserves, until your body is stuck in a low-battery mode day after day. And the worst part? You may not even feel anxious. You may think you're calm, but your body is working overtime, trying to adapt to an internal pressure it hasn't had time to recover from. Chronic fatigue caused by stress can also show up as brain fog, low motivation, and a deep sense that no matter how much you rest, you never feel truly refreshed. If that sounds familiar, your body might be waving a red flag, asking for help. But the good news is, once you recognize this pattern, you can begin to reverse it. Through better sleep habits, simple breathing techniques, and managing your stress before it manages you, it all starts with awareness. Sleep is one of the most important ways your body recovers, and it's also one of the first things stress begins to disrupt. You might lie in bed, exhausted, but your mind won't slow down, or you fall asleep quickly, only to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, unable to fall back asleep. Other times, you sleep a full 7 or 8 hours, but still wake up feeling drained, like you barely slept at all. That's not just poor sleep, it's stress working behind the scenes. When your nervous system is under stress, even low-grade stress you're not aware of, it stays on alert. It keeps your body in a light, restless state, always ready to respond to a threat, even when there is none. And that means your body never fully enters the deep, restorative stages of sleep. Over time, this kind of disrupted rest can lead to more than just fatigue. It can raise your blood pressure, increase inflammation, slow down memory and healing, and make every day feel just a little harder to get through. The problem is, many people don't associate sleep issues with stress. They think it's just aging, or maybe too much caffeine. And while those can matter, if you're struggling with sleep regularly, your body might be under stress even if your mind feels relaxed. The good news is that sleep can be restored. It starts with calming your nervous system before bed, turning off screens early, avoiding heavy late-night meals, and practicing a consistent sleep routine. These small choices can retrain your body to rest again the way it was meant to. If you've noticed changes in your weight, either gaining or losing, without any real change in your diet or activity, it could be a hidden sign of stress. Most people think weight gain comes from overeating or being less active. But stress changes how your body processes food, stores fat, and uses energy. And the tricky part is, these shifts can happen even if you feel emotionally calm. When you're under stress, your body releases cortisol, a hormone designed to help you survive danger. But when cortisol stays high for too long, it tells your body to hold on to fat, especially around the belly. At the same time, it increases cravings for sugar and carbs, making you reach for comfort foods without realizing it. And for some people, stress does the opposite. It shuts down appetite completely, leading to unintentional weight loss. The result? You feel like your body is changing without your permission, and nothing you do seems to make a difference. This can be frustrating, even frightening, especially when you're trying to stay healthy as you age. But here's the truth. Your body isn't broken. It's just responding to signals, many of them coming from chronic, hidden stress. Once you begin calming your stress response, your metabolism can normalize and your body can return to balance. It's not about dieting harder, it's about listening to what your body is really trying to tell you. Have you ever had stomach trouble that just wouldn't go away? Maybe it's bloating after meals, frequent gas, constipation, or even diarrhea. You try adjusting your diet, maybe cutting out dairy or adding more fiber, but nothing seems to fully solve the problem. While many people blame food sensitivities or age, the real cause could be stress, and most don't even realize it. You see, your brain and your gut are deeply connected. When your mind is under pressure, your digestive system feels it too. This link is called the gut-brain axis, and it means stress doesn't just stay in your head. It travels through your nervous system, affecting how your gut moves, absorbs nutrients, and fights off bad bacteria. Even low-level stress can cause your digestion to slow down or speed up, depending on how your body reacts. And over time, if that stress continues, you might start to notice food that used to sit fine now causes discomfort. You may feel full too quickly or constantly hungry. You may even develop reflux or ulcers as stress increases acid production in the stomach. It's frustrating because it's invisible. You don't feel anxious, you don't feel overwhelmed, and yet your digestive system is bearing the burden. But the good news is the gut can heal. When you support your nervous system with breathing, gentle movement, and mindful eating, your digestion begins to rebalance. It's not about chasing symptoms with pills. It's about calming the system at its core. And when you do, your body starts to digest life just as it should. Sometimes the people around you notice it before you do. You snap at small things. You feel irritated when someone asks a simple question, or you suddenly find yourself feeling low for no clear reason. One moment you're fine, and the next your mood dips like a wave pulling you under. You tell yourself it's just a bad day or maybe hormones, but deep down something feels off. This emotional up and down is often a hidden sign of chronic stress. That's because stress doesn't only affect your body, it affects your brain chemistry too. It disrupts the balance of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that regulate your mood, motivation, and sense of joy. When those are off balance, even the smallest frustration can feel overwhelming, and even a peaceful day can feel empty. You may not notice the shift right away. It can creep in slowly, a little more impatience here, a little less laughter there, until one day you don't quite recognize yourself. For older adults especially, this change in mood is often mistaken for aging or fatigue. But in truth, it's your nervous system asking for relief. The longer stress lingers, the more your mood pays the price. But this too can change. Gentle practices like walking outside, listening to music, or simply speaking kindly to yourself can begin to soothe your emotional landscape. You don't have to push through, you don't have to ignore it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause and breathe. This one can be hard to talk about, but it's more common than you'd think. You used to feel connected, interested, maybe even playful, but now the desire just isn't there. And it's not about age alone. It's not that you've lost love or attraction. It's that something deeper has shifted inside your body. A quiet, invisible force is turning down the volume on intimacy, and more often than not, that force is stress. When your body is under stress, especially for long periods, it shifts into survival mode. And in that mode, reproduction is not a priority. Your brain tells your body to conserve energy, to focus on getting through the day, not on connection, pleasure, or desire. Hormones like testosterone and estrogen begin to drop, blood flow to sexual organs slows, and your libido fades quietly into the background. It's easy to blame this on aging, but that's not the full story. Many people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, even 80s maintain strong emotional and physical intimacy when their stress is managed. Low libido isn't just about years, it's about how supported your nervous system feels. When you begin to lower stress, when you bring softness back into your day, when you allow rest, affection, and slowness, your body can begin to open again. Not with pressure, but with peace. Have you been getting sick more often than usual? Maybe it's a cold that lingers longer than it should, or small infections that pop up one after another. You take your vitamins, eat fairly well, try to rest, but your body just doesn't bounce back like it used to. And while age does play a role, there's another silent factor that weakens your immunity: chronic stress. You see, your immune system is deeply connected to your nervous system. When stress hormones like cortisol stay elevated, they suppress immune function. Your body becomes less effective at fighting viruses, repairing tissue, and keeping inflammation in check. What used to be a mild sniffle now becomes a week-long struggle. A small cut may take days longer to heal, and every time you feel better, something new seems to creep in. It's not just coincidence, it's your body waving a flag telling you it's overwhelmed. And the longer that stress lingers, the more vulnerable your system becomes. But here's the hopeful truth: your immune system is incredibly responsive to care. When you reduce stress, through movement, connection, or simply slowing down, your body can begin to restore balance. Your defenses rebuild. Your healing speeds up. You don't need to push harder, you need to listen closer. Sometimes the pain just shows up. A stiff neck in the morning, aching joints after a quiet afternoon, a lower back that nags every time you stand up. You stretch, you rest, you take something for it, but it keeps coming back. It's easy to assume it's just arthritis or aging or maybe even your mattress. But what if some of that discomfort was actually stress? When you're under chronic stress, your muscles tend to stay slightly tense, ready to react even when there's nothing to react to. This constant low-level tension builds up. It pulls on your joints, compresses your spine, causes your shoulders to hunch, and before long your body feels sore, even though you haven't done anything wrong. Stress also increases inflammation, another silent source of pain. Your nerves become more sensitive. Your body perceives more discomfort from less stimulus. This kind of pain doesn't always show up on scans. It doesn't have a clear injury behind it. And that's why it can feel so frustrating, like no one understands it, not even you. But once you realize that stress is tightening your body from the inside, you can start to let it go. Gentle stretching, warm baths, slow walks in nature, even deep breathing, all of these help melt away the pressure your body has been quietly holding. You don't have to live in pain. Sometimes, the first step to relief is understanding where that pain really comes from. You sit down to read and realize you've read the same sentence 3 times. You walk into a room and forget why you went there. You start a task and 5 minutes later you're doing something else entirely. Sound familiar? For many older adults, these moments are brushed off as senior moments or just part of aging. But when they start happening more often, or when you feel like your brain is always foggy, stress may be to blame. Stress affects the brain in powerful ways. It impacts your hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory, and reduces blood flow to your prefrontal cortex, which helps you stay focused and make decisions. The result? You feel scattered, forgetful, even mentally exhausted, even if you've done very little that day. And because this mental fog creeps in slowly, many people don't recognize it for what it is. You might tell yourself, I'm just getting older, but what you're really experiencing is your brain trying to protect itself from overload. The good news is that the brain is adaptable. When you reduce stress, even just a little, mental clarity starts to return. Practicing mindfulness, limiting distractions, staying hydrated, and getting restful sleep all help clear the fog. You don't need to try harder to focus. You just need to create the right space for your mind to feel safe and clear again. Sometimes stress doesn't show up as a feeling, it shows up as a pattern. You stop calling friends, you say no to invitations you used to enjoy, you spend more time alone, not because you want to, but because it feels easier. Maybe your eating habits shift, you snack more late at night, or skip meals altogether. Maybe you start relying on alcohol, or watching too much TV. Anything to fill the space that once felt calm. These quiet behavior changes can be one of the strongest signs that something inside you is out of balance, but because they happen slowly, you might not notice at first. You tell yourself you're just tired, or busy, or not in the mood. But over time, these small shifts become a new normal, and the vibrant, connected version of yourself begins to fade into the background. Chronic stress has a way of pulling us away from the things that bring us joy. It numbs motivation, dulls enthusiasm, and replaces curiosity with routine. And the scariest part? You may not even realize how much you've changed until someone close to you points it out. But here's the hope. You can come back. You can rebuild connection. You can rekindle interest. All it takes is awareness and the willingness to care for yourself, one small choice at a time. Because even the subtlest behavior changes can be a cry for help. And when you start listening, you'll find your way back to who you truly are. So now you know, stress doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. It shows up as fatigue, as sleepless nights, as a quiet shift in how you feel, think, and move through your day. And while these signs may seem small on their own, together they paint a clear picture. A body that's tired, a mind that's overwhelmed, a spirit that's quietly asking for relief. But here's the most important part. You are not powerless. Your body is wise. It's always speaking to you, always trying to protect you, even when it doesn't use words. And once you begin to listen, truly listen, you can begin to heal. You can support your nervous system, restore your energy, and reconnect with yourself in ways you may have forgotten were possible. It doesn't take a huge change, just a few small steps each day, a little more rest, a little more breathing, a little more kindness to yourself, and over time, those little choices begin to rebuild your strength, your clarity, your peace. So if anything in this video felt familiar, if you saw yourself in any of these signs, don't ignore it. Don't wait for things to get worse. Start now, start small, but start. And if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it, leave a comment to share your experience, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next step in your wellness journey. Because your health matters, your peace matters, and your healing is always possible.